Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it might be time to get the proceedings underway, and I'd like to officially welcome you to the Human Power Homelessness event.
Hi, my name is Laria Crawford. I am 9. It makes me very sad that many people don't even have one home and don't have all the things I do. So nice for each of you to come along tonight and to talk about how we can create more homes for people in the Hunter that need them.
So we're both business owners here in the Hunter. Michelle's company is Being More Human and mine is UQ Power, and so Human Power is the combination of our two businesses.
We're very aware of the fact that each one of you come with your own stories and your own experiences, and some of you know a lot about the topic that we're talking about tonight, and some of you know absolutely nothing, and that's the whole point of the evening.
Sadly, the typical homeless, person is also changing. And what we don't hear about quite often now is it's no longer your single man or your single female, but it's the families. The husband, wife, couple of children who 6 months ago might have been working in the mines, etc., who are now laid off, can't afford the rent that they were once paying, and on New Start are struggling to be able to get into or stay into the rental market, and are turning to, unfortunately, sleeping in cars.
Things were unravelling for me at a very young age, so I was a child in the out-of-home care system, and actually started down a path of substance abuse and alcohol abuse at a very young age. It just led on from there, running away from home. I was homeless on the streets of Canberra as a youth. And then walked into a domestic violence relationship.
The thing is, if a person on a single income, the Anglicare rental accessibility report showed that there was less than 1% nationally of properties available in a private rental that people on a single Centrelink payment can afford.
And so the reality is we're living in a broken world. Everything's broken. It's tragically broken. But we are the solution. We can help and turn things around.
If you were to think what could we as a community and society draw on that we could end homelessness?
A barrier is there is no perceivable reward in doing it. In providing it. So even if there was a social, like a media type, like a 5-star energy rating, you get a 5-star rating for your social contribution as a developer.
People go to Housing New South Wales and then they're put up in a motel. It's funded for a couple of days at least. So
where would we put that in?
Well, I don't know if it belongs out here because it's what gets used all the time. Yeah, it just needs to be reformed.
Okay. I just thought of one in here, People, Skills and Practices is listening to homeless people and former homeless people.
Oh yes, okay. And that includes the one-day-a-week GP services,
wraparound care, all that sort of stuff, like financial counselling, and the so like a lack of job skills.
Yeah, so absolutely. Because the one thing that I've found is that when I speak to careers advisors, I find that they often only get to see the same one student, maybe one every 2, 4, 6 or even 8 weeks. Yeah. So one student only gets to see their careers advisor every however long, and that isn't preparing them for the real world.
And the video, I think, were 7,000, weren't they? They were able to produce very pods. Yeah.
The pods.
Yes. Yeah. So if we can find land providers and service providers.
On the back of the house.
Granny flat. Yes. Yeah.
Because what we want to do now is try to come up with what you believe are the 5 most critical points on your map.
Education, a lack of early intervention leads progressively to homelessness.
Right, and so
So if we do communication.
We have at number one a lack of early intervention. So in other words, for whatever reason, when problems initially emerge, no matter what they are, there are a lack of services or ability to access those services to stop that trajectory towards homelessness. Secondly, a lack of emergency accommodation. So put quite simply, if there was enough emergency accommodation, people would not be homeless.
The biggest thing that came up was a lack of a coordinated approach. So services are fighting for funds, so rather than the collaboration that's needed, it's more about competition, consistency, collaboration's needed, wraparound services. So once you get people into homes, you need the wraparound services to support them so that they can stay in the homes. Then we kind of doubled up here. We had the personal, there's life skills and education, generational dependence, addiction, incarceration, mental health. They're all things that are barriers to housing people.
Communication is also not there in terms of getting the services out there to the homeless people. So a lot of the times they might not even know that those services are available.
All levels of government and allied health providers, early intervention and education providers. We really thought it was essential to have lateral thinkers, people who think outside the box, entrepreneurs, small business providers, investors, and the arts community to engage that heart and mind.
Is a focus on people who are homeless, have been homeless, or at risk of being homeless. What we actually need to do is not just do for them, we actually need to sit down and listen, because we'll find that there's a whole lot of solutions that are going to come from them and be able to meet their needs.
Everyone that's in the homelessness service provider area, we will be sharing this information with them, and we will no doubt be having a lot more conversations and seeing what can we start as some projects, or how do we actually get some traction around some of this, so it isn't just hot air. We want it to become some projects, and we saw that with some other communities around the world where they've actually reduced homelessness significantly, and all of those that have done that, such as Finland and Canada, it has been because it's been government, business and community all working together, and I think that's part of the solution.
Most importantly from my point of view is that you guys could have chosen to do 20 million different things tonight, and you made a choice to come here, and you made a choice for your voices to be heard about something that's very important. So absolute thank you to you, and the shifts and changes that we will see as a result of the ongoing conversation will be largely attributable to the conversation tonight. So thank you very much for being part of it.